There's different forms of dualism when we talk about dualism. What I was talking about before is a dualism between the mind and the body, the idea that there's an immaterial soul. But there are other dualisms, and you could talk about the tension between different things. And the standard tension that we deal with is we have certain desires, certain appetites. We also have a moral sense. So an example you gave is prostitution, where many men go to prostitutes even though they believe it's morally wrong. People cheat in their taxes. People are unfaithful to those they love. It's part of the human condition. If we were all angels, we wouldn't need a morality in the first place. The fact that we do these things and the fact that we know that they're wrong, again, illustrates our moral nature. If you, I would rather be in a world where people did things that they knew were wrong and felt bad about them than a world in which people would do things and have no conception of right and wrong. Such a world would never work. We would never coordinate our activities together. We would never be kind enough to one another to have a society in the first place. Now, prostitution is an interesting example because in some way, people have very different intuitions about prostitution. In some countries in the world, it's legal. In others, it's illegal. And so the question is, what's the problem with it? And there you get different answers. So some people argue that the problem is that it ultimately exploits other people, usually women. Others think in some way it just violates sacred moral values. Sexuality should be limited maybe to the marital bed. And this is so we see in prostitution a similar debate that we see for homosexual marriage, where many people around the world are for it or against it, but those who are against it often say that it's a misuse of sexuality, that in some sense violates the way things should be. On the other hand, in many secular societies, the morality is more consequentialist, more utilitarian. And so the question of whether or not something is right or wrong ultimately depends on whether or not that act increases the happiness or the sadness, the satisfaction, the ultimate core goals that people want to meet, whether it makes the world a better place or a worse place. And forget about all these things about sacredness and abstract values and so on. Like many secular people, like more and more people in the world, my own attitudes towards these issues does tend to be more consequentialist. That doesn't mean I'm in favor of prostitution, but it means that my feeling is the way we should ask the question about prostitution should be in terms of whether or not people suffer as a result by making it illegal, or people would suffer more if it was made legal. We should look only at the consequences. Same with the legalization of drugs. And again, being a consequentialist, moving away from these sacred values, doesn't make the moral problems go away. They still exist. But they're framed in a different way in terms of their outcomes.